Hello and welcome to the Mama Nevin Knits YouTube channel. My name is Joan and I am Mama Nevin here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. Today is April 6th. This is episode 67, which I can't believe, and it's 82 degrees where I am in Southern California. So yes, I'm wearing shorts. How is everyone today? And I'm sure all of you could tell last week I really wasn't feeling well. And when I went back to watch it, I looked at my husband. I was like, this episode is so boring. So I'm really sorry. I will try to liven things up a little bit today because I felt really, really bad. But it's like I've already recorded this, so I'm putting it out. So it's been an interesting week. I have been struggling with headaches and having to sleep them off and things like that. So I didn't get done as much as I would have liked to have gotten done. And a lot of what I got done I did this morning. So let's get started with the projects. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the memory blanket. And here are the needles in there. And I call this the memory blanket, but it is kind of my own thing a little bit. I did look at the original memory blankets for inspiration, but I like to do the thing with the raised, like the double decrease in the back. When I go back, I don't purl that stitch. I skip it with the yarn to the front. So I'm knitting and I skip this stitch and then I continue knitting, and that gives it more of a raised look. Let me get that out of the way so you can see that. So that's what I like for my memory blanket. So I'm going to cut you off already here and go get the color for this next week. Okay, I am back, and this is our color for the week. It's a light one, but it's got some other colors in it, so I think it's going to make it really interesting. So that'll be fun with some of the colors that I have to put around it. I only have 2 more squares for that row, and then I will have a perfect square. It'll be 10 by 10. So then I get to start a new row. Woo! Okay, sorry about that. Okay, my Christmas blanket. I did do a new square, and here it is. And I got my husband to help me. I laid out a piece of fabric, and my husband doesn't know about wrinkles. Sorry. But I laid out a piece of fabric and we put grid lines. So as I'm putting this together, I can put these squares where they're going to wind up being on the finished blanket. So I will show you at the end the progression, but here's what it looks like right now. And I got fussed at by my husband because I think he's my biggest, not really critic, but he's like, yeah, no, you need to do that better. But he told me I wasn't leaving the pictures up long enough, so I'll do better, I promise. Okay, temperature blanket. I did do one square. Sorry. These stitch stoppers stop my stitches for sure. So I was teasing last week and I said, yeah, it's going to take me 7 years to get this blanket done. I'm kind of not kidding, because I'm only doing like 1 square a week. Here it is for this week. And, there's 7 days in a week. So 7 years. And chicken ETM I don't know what that stands for. Anyway, she told me that she felt like I had called her out on the 7-year comment. No, not calling you out. I'm calling myself out, but, you know, I would never do that to you. I think her name is Tara. I think. I know people more by their screen names than I do by their regular names. I know. I should be ashamed not knowing people's names. But anyway, let's see. And then I did do some, not a lot, you know, I didn't do a lot on anything because I kept getting nap attacked. But I did do a little bitty teensy beensy bit on the Battenberg, just to kind of tell it that I still loved it and, you know, all was fine. We weren't mad at each other. Here it is. I did these two. So I did these two white ones and added these two colorful ones to it. So, did I leave that up there long enough, Ned? And then I also did another color square, just, you know, just for fun. So, alrighty. And then I worked on my 10-stitch blanket, and I know it shouldn't have gotten a lot of attention, but it did. You know how it is with the youngest child, newest project. It gets the most attention. So it looks pretty gnarly right now, but that's okay because I like it for some weird reason. I'm doing that thing with it where I do like the slip stitch for, what do they call it, for plying, Navajo plying, and I call it the slip stitch thing, the slip stitch plying, so I can do three, oh my, I can do 3 strands. It took me a while to get that out, sorry. But I do 3 strands on it, and this is where we are. And like I said, it's ugly as all get out, but I love it. So I don't know if it's going to be a blanket. It might wind up being a mug rug. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's making me happy at the moment. My plans are, like, see, this is the color from last week on the blanket, on the memory blanket. So my plans are to just add whatever I have left over on here. So there. Alrighty. The Mardi Gras socks. So let me get these out. I tried to retake everything out, so because there was a lot of crinkling last week. I'm sorry. But here we are. So I did the heel. So here's the heel, and I did just a little bit more. And I'm trying, I think these are Zing needles. I like the needle fine. These cords are horrible, and I may get rid of them after this because I'm not having fun. So there. Now, I did get a question about whether this was a pattern or whether this was something that I made up. And I did make this up. You know what? I'm going to probably cut this part out, but I'm going to look to see who asked that question. And y'all, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's because I had that boring episode last week or what, but I'm losing some subscribers. Yarn Chicken ETM was the one that said she felt called out. And then, okay, Deanna Knopp, 5020. So let me explain it to you here. And I also am thinking about writing this out. So if you think it would help you more for me to write it out, I'll be happy to do that. So what I did is I had this yarn, which is Endymion by Mandy's Makings. And then I had a mini set called Rex by Mandy's Makings as well. And I'm sure I've mentioned this 4,000 times, but I am originally from the New Orleans area. That's where I grew up. They used to turn us loose in the French Quarter on field trips. So anything to do with New Orleans, I love. So what my idea was on this, and I didn't realize the Endymion, that the splotches of color were as bright as they were. So, you know, it didn't come off exactly like I liked it. But anyway, so I did 15 rows of knit 2, purl 2 rib. Then I increased, because my magic number for socks is 60. So I increased to 64 before I got to the color work part. And what I did with the color work is just like a little cross. Like one row is dot, next row is dot, 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 next row is dot. And I'm going to show my grid that I used right here. Okay. So then I have their short little legs. And so I've decided that I'm going to start making my socks a little bit shorter. I like them to go over my ankles really good, but they don't need to go all the way up because they wind up being slouched down usually anyway. And these I think are going to be perfect. So once I got to where I wanted the heel to be, I went back and forth with the purple, then the green, then the gold. Then I had to do a little trick because my yarn was over, I think, was it over here? I think it was over here. Yeah, my yarn was, yeah, sorry. My yarn was down here where I had stopped to start and do my heels. So in order to do the heel turn, I had to pick up the stitches on this side only, then do my heel turn, then go down and pick up the stitches on this side and then go back, if that makes sense. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is after I did the color work section, I decreased back down to 60. So down here, we're working with 60 stitches, not 64. So I went down, I got down because the color work section is 11 rows. So I had to figure out, because I know about how long my socks should be. They should be about 65 rows. So I took the 65 and I subtracted the 11, and that's when I did the same thing where I increased to 64, then did the color work section, decreased, and then what I did is I just used my toe section to decrease back out. So I started my toe section with 64 rather than 60. So hopefully that made sense. And if it didn't, let me know. I will try to work it. I'll try to write it out. I am not a professional pattern writer by any stretch of the imagination. So let me see. Okay, my other me was playing on my phone. But if you want me to attempt to write that out and put the grid in it and all that stuff, I'll be happy to do that. Diet Dr. Pepper. Okay. Kathy. Now this is Kathy with a C. I have a Kathy with a C in my life, and I have a Kathy with a K in my life. The C is my daughter-in-law Becca's mom. And I didn't get a lot done on her socks, but you know, I picked them up, right? That counts. So I did one little section of color. She wears relatively her foot is actually smaller than mine. So I anticipate getting these done here, well, at least the first one, pretty quickly. And so then it'll be a race to get the second one. And like I've said before, doing the second sock for me is easier because it's like all of my figuring and calculating is done. So Anyway, all right. So here is the Luke sock, which is a sock for my husband. So I did this section with the brown and the green, but then on the back, the green is all the way across. So that's just how they said to do it. So, because you don't need this decoration on the bottom of your foot. Right? Right. Okay. So that is all for socks this week. I did do some of my plastic canvas, and see, no crinkles. I took it out of the bag for you guys. This is just so non-exciting. It's not even funny. But here's the side of the fireplace. So I have 2 of these now. Next week, I'm all excited. I get to do the fireplace surround. So, but I also did, I did a little present that goes under the tree on the side. So, you know, it's getting done little bit by little bit. Alrighty. And, okay, y'all are going to laugh at me. Because I was like, oh man, I didn't get to my sewing this week. They're going to be so disappointed because I told them I was going to get the chicken bag done and didn't happen. So I sewed it this morning. So this is what I have so far. This is the outside. And I don't have chickens. As a matter of fact, me and a chicken when I was young had a little discussion. And it won because it pecked my feet. But here's how it's going to look. I think it's going to be really cute. So I am anxious. I should be able to get that done this next week, right? I feel like I should take my list that I want to get done and just flip it and start with the stuff that's at the bottom of this and start with that first. I don't know. Okay, I got some incoming this week. And remember when I told you last week that our friend Cassie Crafts is an enabler? This is what I got. She enabled me to buy from Hobby Yarn. Now, I thought all Hobby sold was cotton. I live in Southern California. It's so dry out here. I don't do a lot of cotton. I don't need any more dryness in my life. So, but this is 75% wool and 25% polyamide. But I just thought this was really cute. This is the Silly Socks Flower Pop. And it is made in Turkey, where a lot of things are made. And, oh, what's the color number? What's the color name? Is there a name? There's no color name. Boo. I thought there was a color name on it. I'm sorry, y'all. Oh, color 10. Real exciting here. But I just thought that was pretty because I am a blue and teal girl. And then I also got from Hobby Silly Socks Color Pop. And this is color 4. And I don't know why. This just really appealed to me for some reason. I thought they were really cute. But, you know, God knows when I'll get around to knitting it. Oh, I know you guys have probably noticed, but I did get rid of one of my boxes that my riser was on because I felt like I was just ahead. So I got rid of one of the risers so you can see me a little bit better and see my yarn better. And I got one more thing from Hobby, and this is color 1, which is pretty. So I got some more yarn, you know, because I need yarn. Then I don't know about the rest of you, but since we found out about Joann's, I've been like visiting other stores and just trying to see, you know, what am I going to buy in the future? Where am I going to go in the future? So I do have a little store in my town called Knitter's Hideout. And so I went in there. I was like, let me just go to a local knit store. I'm feeling like I need to support local. So I found this. And then it's a Madeline Tosh, hand dyed in the USA. And the name of this is Barbara Deserved Better. I don't know who Barbara is. I don't know what this is about, but I think it's kind of cute. And this is a Tosh Merino Light, and it's 100% superwash wool, which I had hoped to make socks out of it, but now that I see that it's 100%, this might be a shawl in the future. And this is probably definitely going to be a shawl in the future. Even though it's got acrylic in it. But look at this. Is that gorgeous? I just love it. I mean, ever since we decided to make orange great again, I've been seeing the oranges and they look fabulous. This is a Anzula luxury. Is it luxury sock? No, luxury something. Anyway, it's hand dyed in Fresno. And it's 80% superwash, 17% acrylic, and 3% polyester. And let's see. Let's see. Do we have a color? Yes, Dottie Marigold. So I had thought about making a shawl with this, but that don't look good with me. So probably these may wind up being socks for my husband because I just love how rugged they look. So that is all the yarn I got. Hint, hint. All right, let me talk about cows and mows. Now, apparently on Knit Night, it was said that I was one of the most organized people. I don't think so. But anyway, thank you for the compliment. So what they were saying is that I was the one that was like organized with putting cows and mows. Well, I only know about 2 right now because I'm having trouble watching other podcasts. And I think, I don't know what's going on. I don't want to whine about it because I'm thrilled for the people who show up on my and watch every week. But I have lost some subscribers lately. And I'm wondering if YouTube is doing a purge and they have taken my subscriber that I've subscribed to off because I haven't watched in a while or whatever. And it's like, mind your own business. I still want to be subscribed. Anyway, so the cows and mows, the first one is 25 and 25. I did get a little work on that one this month, so yay. And that is through Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. And once you finish your grid, you can send that to her. Okay? And then we have the Make Orange Great Again cow, and that is put on by Blocked Magazine. It goes from June 14th to September 30th. You must finish your item, okay? And at least 50% of it must be orange. I think this might qualify. So, okay, happenings. The babies in Big Bear are getting so big. They're so big. And when they get to this point, you know, the Big Bears, Eagle babies go from, oh, they're so cute and fuzzy and lovey. And then they go to the majestic. Ours are in the middle. They're kind of ugly right now, but that's okay. We love them nonetheless. And we're just really happy that 2 of them, it looks like 2 of them are going to make it all the way. Sorry about that. So that's really exciting that, and my husband, I've gotten my husband hooked. He watches them more than I do. Um, let's see. Scott didn't come over this week. He has had some more car problems. Poor kid. So Steve and Jessica had borrowed the truck the weekend, but then they needed us to come over on Tuesday to basically babysit Chips while they looked at the apartment to see what they needed to do to get their deposit back. So, of course, Grandma and Grandpa went over and we took Chips and we took her for a little walk around and just had a good time with her. And she wanted to run and my husband was like, no, because we'll never catch her. So we're like, okay. But she's so cute. They sent me the cutest little picture of her. I'm gonna put that up here. And let's see, I went to my last visit to the big Joann's in Redlands. And I say it's my last visit because, and they still are really well stocked. I'm kind of surprised, but I don't get out there very much anymore. I used to go, because that's out by where I used to work, and I used to go after work and get my Joann's fix. But, I don't go out there very much anymore. And like I said, we went to go take care of Chips a little bit. So that's why we went to that Joann's, because I was like, okay, take a picture of me waving goodbye. So I'll put that in here. And then, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with going into Joann's because it's a 2-yard minimum. I don't normally buy 2 yards of anything because most of my fabric is for bags. So this is what I found. I found some fat quarters, and with 2 of each of these, I'm probably going to use these for like the bottoms, so that should help a lot. And then I have these and these, and then I thought this was cute, little pencils, and then yellow. And sorry, I got those, and there's got to be some bags in my future. I got to get some sewing done because I have so much fabric. So I bought the fat quarters. They still have a lot of stuff in that store, so I'm like, how are you guys planning on emptying this by May? This is going to be interesting to see. I don't know. All right, for puppies, I told you already, we got to see Chips. She was, we took her for a walk while they inspected the apartment. And Pirate, when Chips came over here, oh my God, he loves her so much. And she's just like, but he woke us up really early this morning. I mean, I was so out of it, y'all. I went to the bathroom, and for a minute, I couldn't remember how to flush. I was out of it. So, I love him, and I have to remind myself that 5:30 in the morning. All right. I think that is all I have for this week. I did want to, my show and tell this week is going to be my swing that I bullied my husband into buying for me. And, he was like, we don't need a swing. I don't want to have to mow around it, blah, 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 blah. So I finally wore him down, and he bought me a swing, and he put it together for me. And so I took a picture of him today because I went out there and he was asleep in the swing. And he sits in the swing almost every day. The man that didn't want the swing. Yeah. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great day. I'm hoping this was a little bit more interesting than last week. Again, I apologize. I think that's all. So have a fabulous day, and Thank you for coming by to visit, and I hope you decide to come back and visit next week. Bye-bye.
Considering a pretty strong headwind drought. And after this climate will change directions more westerly, that could make a big difference. And so far, no wind battles. The direction has been favorable to that 100%, but that could change.
You want to come sit by Mama and let Daddy take a picture?